Hi friends, and welcome back to the next session of the one and only Bob. If you hear some banging, there's annoying people shooting fireworks outside my house and in turn giving Benji a panic attack, so he is hiding in the bathroom. But typically he runs like from the bathroom to my feet in my bedroom, like under my desk. So if you hear a lot of scurrying, it's poor little Ben. So all right, I'm gonna dive right into it. We're on page 193, and we left off with Ivan's hand being under the rubble. More police cars and ambulances arrive at the park. A handful of keepers stream in, too, looking frantic and confused. The weirdest thing of all, wandering through all of the destruction are random park residents. Animals, birds, reptiles, residents who most definitely do not belong in Gorilla World. A police officer is chasing an armadillo. A great blue heron watches the mayhem from her position atop a giraffe statue. So there's a bunch of chaos going on in the park. A wallaby pokes his nose out of a bush, his saucer eyes catching the fire engine lights. Nets, someone yells. We need more nets. An older gentleman holding a blue umbrella lets out a blood-curdling scream. Dragon! He cries. I swear to you, I just saw a baby dragon. Sir, says a keeper named Malik. No worries. That's actually a Gila monster. His name is Gillian. A paramedic raises his hand. They have, like, venom, don't they? They say a healthy adult won't die from it, Malik shrugs, although they'll be in some serious pain. Wonderful, says the paramedic. I glance over my shoulder to see Sarah running towards Maya. I can't hear her words, but I can definitely see the worry in her eyes. Zena's ears tip forward. Remember, that was the rescue dog. They're getting the cutters and the jaws of life. Jaws? I repeat. Don't like the sound of that. It spreads metal. They're probably getting close. Come on, we need to get out of the way. I ain't going nowhere. I hear ya, she says, and I can tell from the weary sound of her voice that she had this conversation before. But the best thing for Ivan right now is to let the humans do their thing. I think about it, figure she's right. I give his fingers one last lick. They don't move. Nothing. Nada. We pick our way to the bottom of the debris pile. Hang in there, Ivan, I call. We love you, buddy. I know it's crazy, but I listen anyways, hoping for a sign, any sign, that he's still with us. I run to Kenyani. Don't worry, I tell her. He's gonna make it. I can tell she doesn't believe me. From there, I head over to Maya and Sarah and Ruby. Maya has a radio handset in one hand and, for some reason, a young, squirmy meerkat in the other. Sarah kneels down and hugs me tighter than any sweater she's ever knit. Bob, she cries, what happened to your nose? And look at your paw. Some dogs don't like to be hugged that way. I'm one of them. But Sarah needs to do it. I can tell somehow. So I let her. Isn't so bad, really. A new police officer joins us. Officer Williams. She nods at Maya. You're with the park, right? Yes, I'm Maya. This, Officer Williams pauses. We need to get this under control ASAP. Winds are going to pick up, and we haven't even hit the eye. So that means the eye of the storm. And typically what that means is it's the worst part of the storm. The eye of the storm brings about the most destruction. So she's saying, Officer William is saying that they haven't even had the worst of this storm yet, and it's so chaotic in the zoo. Storm surge could be any issue. This one's moving slow. We've got a skeleton staff here, says Maya as the meerkat attempts to eat her earrings. Early reports say maybe a third of the habitats are damaged or destroyed. She shakes her head. We've got some injuries, some possible fatalities too. Human? Don't think so. So fatalities means like deaths. So unfortunately, some animals have passed away. Anything loose that could be, a problem? Maya presses her lips together. Yep. Such as A couple Florida panthers, gray wolves, python maybe, possibly an alligator or two, American alligators, not Chinese. I don't care if they're from Canada. If they eat people, we're in trouble. They don't. Typically. Typically, Officer Williams repeats. Well, that's reassuring. Sarah loosens her grip on me ever so slightly. Maya, she asks, voice trembling, have you heard anything on the radio from George and Julia? I keep calling, but the cell towers are down. Nothing yet, Maya says, but I'm sure they're fine. Nearest shelter's over at Lincoln Elementary, says Officer Williams. You should check there. Sarah frowns. They were probably here right before the tornado hit. We're searching the park, ma'am, says the officer. We'll find them if they're here. Everybody clear out. A firefighter with a megaphone yells from a spot near Ivan. Could be danger or more collapse. We're working on this last metal beam. I look to see if Ivan's fingers are moving. Nothing. Hold on, Ivan, I yell. Nothing. Sometimes nothing is the worst sound in the world. Ruby lets out a little elephant cry, and then I realize that maybe that's the worst sound in the world. These fireworks are probably sending my dog into an anxiety attack, and it's very annoying to me. The wind dies down to a whisper, as if the world is holding its breath along with the rest of us. Do you have any vets standing by? Asks Officer Williams as two more ambulances stretch to a halt nearby. Yes, Maya nods. Not sure when they'll get here, though. Officer Williams waves down an ambulance crew member. You ever give CPR to a gorilla? Primate's a primate, I guess, he says, and he doesn't look too sure. What's going on? We're waiting on equipment, but we're stretched pretty thin. A lot of structural damage on the north side of town, says Officer William. They're going to get a chain on that last beam. Try pulling it free with some of the cars. Somebody under there? Gorilla, we think. Not sure what else or who else. I look at all the cement, all the wood and metal. Nobody could survive that. Not even a silverback gorilla with the strength of 8 men. So essentially what happened is that Ivan probably was hiding in the gorilla world, maybe like under like overhang, and it all fell on top of him. So it was built of cement, wood, and metal, and Bob's basically just saying like there's no way that he could have survived that because it's just so much weight on his body. And yet Ivan's fingers moved, and then they didn't. Several minutes pass. The rain slows a bit, along with the wind. The crowd watches as 3 firefighters attach a long chain to the metal beam next to Ivan, then hook it to a tow bar on the rest of the police car. Back up, folks, calls the microphone guy. Farther. The chain clanks, the car growls, the wheels squeal, grinding, groaning, progress. Just a bit. The 2 chunks of metal have definitely moved a whisker or 2. More grinding. Wheels dig holes in the ground. Mud flies. Thick brown rain. A lurch. A snap. Clanks and rumbles at the big beam jerks free. The rescue workers move in, digging with their bare hands. Cement and dust and metal and bits and pieces of gorilla world are everywhere. But where is Ivan? No movement. Nothing. But after a few more minutes, one thing is clear. A gorilla-shaped mound has appeared, covered by dust and dirt and debris and splattered with rain. It just lies there. I've lost a lot in my life. My whole family, Stella. But Ivan? No. It can't happen. Not Ivan. Oh my gosh. Miss Puglisi is truly crying. I always cry about Ivan because I just love him so much. And I would just feel so upset if he finally was in an okay place and then this is how he dies. Like, that's horrible. Okay. Miracle. The mound sits up. Oh my gosh, I'm so dramatic. Ivan sits up. Gorilla ghost. Ivan emerges from a cloud of dust like a jumbo-sized ghost. He blinks several times, coughs, shakes, stretches a little. He's holding a banana, which he proceeds to eat. Everyone, and I do mean everybody, cheers. I love that he survived, thank God. So Ivan survived. We can cross that off the list. We can stop crying about it, Miss Puglisi, and move on to the next challenge here. Wolf on the run. I scramble over to Ivan, and he gives me a look that says, "You're the best, Bob." "I thought you were a goner," I say, licking some banana off his chin. "Me too." Ivan seems a little dazed. His eyelashes are white with dust. "What happened anyway?" "Tornado." "Ruby okay? Kenyani, Julia, George?" "Haven't seen Julia or George yet. Kenyani's over there, carrying on." A paramedic holding a box of medical equipment approaches us nervously. "I've got this," calls a woman I recognize as one of the park veterinarians. The paramedic looks happy to step aside. The vet gently but firmly pushes me out of the way. "I'll be back," I tell Ivan. I run to Kenyani. "He's good, totally good." The look of joy in her eyes makes me want to give her an affectionate nose nudge. Almost. From there, I join Ruby and Maya. "I was so scared, Bob," Ruby whispers. "Me too," I admit. "Me too, but he's fine, I promise." We watch a pair of otters dart past, chased by a guy with a net. One of the firefighters who'd been clearing debris yells, "We're clear here." No sign of other victims. Sarah closes her eyes, and I can smell her relieved tears. While Maya listens to her walkie-talkie, trying to take stock of the damage of the park, Officer Williams' police radio hisses and crackles with new problems, new flooding, new dire predictions. "Copy that," she says into her radio. Even with the chaos and noise, I'm close enough to the radio to catch the tiny sound of frantic barking. "We've got a unit reporting that animal shelter down the street's flooding," Officer Williams said. "Also, we've got trailer park damage on 12th Street and Oak down to Nelson Avenue blocking traffic, and a big rig overturned near the fairgrounds, and that's just for starters." Out of the corner of my eye, I notice something airborne. It's graceful and bold, like a huge wingless bird. The crowd gasps. It's Kimyu. He lands on the hood of Officer Williams' squad car. His eyes are glazed, his coat wet and shimmering. "We've got a 1091 here," Officer Williams whispers into her receiver. "Confirmed. Seems they're a wolf on top of my vehicle." Slowly, she reaches for the pistol on her hip. "Please advise." Oh no, she better not hurt Kimyu! This book is just, it's too much for my emotions. How are you guys doing? Are you doing okay? No? Just, you're with me here? Okay. Shots fired. Several officers raise their guns. The tranquilizer dart takes aim too. "No!" Maya yells. "No guns!" Kimyu blinks, eyes darting right and left, then leaps off the car with such grace and speed. It's like he owns the wind. 2 shots ring out. Silence follows. "Was he hit?" someone asks. Maya closes her eyes. "I sure hope not." "I sure hope so," someone else says. So that's really highlighting the controversy of people feeling like they have to protect animals, and then people feeling like, well, they're dangerous and they're free now. They're dangerous. We have to just get rid of them. So that's pretty interesting. As I watched Kimyu fly, I didn't know what to think. Part of me was like, go for it, dude. And the other part of me was thinking, it's a jungle out there. All right, we're gonna close there. We're going to be on page 216, so we made a good dig into our book. Sorry for crying. I just am really attached to little Ivan. I absolutely adore him, and if anything ever happened to him, I would truly not be okay. So sorry I cried about him, but now we have another form of issues coming out with the zoo, and we didn't even hit the eye of the storm yet. So we have a lot to dive into, and we still don't know about Julia and George, but make sure you answer our Flipgrid questions, and I will see you tomorrow.